Hello. So excited, so happy that you're with me. Welcome to Online with Ariana. I am Ariana, of course, your favorite psychic medium. So this week we are on day 4 of the day 6 of elevated consciousness. Now, when we talk about elevated consciousness, you guys know we have been working this for a couple of days. So I want to thank you guys for joining with me. I want to thank you for staying committed to these days, to these 6 days. They're very hard. They're very intense. I'm so happy that you're sticking into it, because really it is about elevating your consciousness. That is what this is about. When Spirit first gave me this, like when Spirit first told me about doing this series, Spirit was like, it's time, because this portal, this opening of the Lion's Gate is very important to your heart, your soul, and your ascension process. It's going to help you elevate and transmute energy to different levels or different dimensions of your personal self. You'll be able to expand on more than one way when it comes to getting more knowledgeable about some things, when it comes to getting more in tune with yourself and your body, your environment, your soul. You'll be able to truly grow and transform. So when Spirit told me to bring this to you guys, I was like, yeah, I don't know. This is very intense. But then when I felt it, I was like, no, I think this is going to be perfect. This is going to be great for the Align with Ariana channel, because I don't want to talk about a lot of things that are just surface. I want to go deep. I want to go deeper into a lot of this information and why it's important. I do feel that I'm not here to bash other people, other spiritual workers, but I think it's very important to talk about self-improvement and how you can grow within yourself, because I too was on the journey just like you, and I listened to a lot of people that were awakened or somewhat conscious, as people would say. Remember that word we talked about? Or they had some experience with spirituality, and I personally did not know, but I just knew that I wanted something deeper for my journey. I wanted to be connected to something real. I knew that this was my season. I knew it was time for me to grow and learn in every aspect of my life. So I started, incorporating spirituality and consciousness on in my life every single day. And what you see on the surface, excuse me, my alarm has to get checked. It's super sensitive. Thank you. It's super sensitive. That's because we have underground water. We don't have city water. We have well water. So yeah, I know. I feel lucky about that. I'm blessed. That is with gratitude, because that water comes from the earth. It comes from the root, from the earth, which I am so excited and so happy about. But here or there, I know you see me on the surface, and everything seems so put together and just so well planned out. But my life in the beginning of my process, when I was growing through, was not all put together. It was very hard trying to make a transition. I remember asking myself multiple times, how am I going to get to the place that I want to go? I'm so tired of working these jobs that are not giving me or promising me what I truly desire. I'm so tired of not being truly feeling like I'm connecting to myself. And actually, when I first started, I would go on walks. I literally would go on walks, and I literally would like walk every single day. And don't worry, dear. I see someone saying they're missing information, everything about the Lion's Gate. No, you have not missed it. You are perfect time, and so trust your soul know what it needs. So yeah, I used to walk and listen to like affirmations in my ear and listen to all of these things. There was one lady, I think her name was Susan. I forgot her name, but I'll try to see if I can find it in one of my old journals. But I wrote a lot of her information down, and she went into about conscious programming and why it's important to program your conscious thoughts every single day. And I started listening to her, and then that's when I began. It was like a light bulb. Something had went off, and it told me, yo, I can shift my reality. And I started applying the principles that she gave. And I'll try to mention it into my next post on here and as well as on my Instagram page. But I started applying some of the things that she would say, and I realized that things became easier in my thought process, things became easier in my feeling, my heart space, and I felt more connected to myself and to the divine. So this is just my journey that I'm talking to you guys about. This is not like the way you're supposed to go. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. It's whatever way that your soul feels that it needs to connect. But this was just my path. And I started literally applying every single thing that she was saying, and listening to all of these different teachers and these different mystics and about mysticism of life. And that is how I connected the dots. And when I started to do that, I started to work on my own self. And I realized that I had a deep connection with connecting with spirits. That's why I went into the psychic readings, because it was easy for me to hear the voices of the spirits when I connected with myself. And tarot as well. So before I started Align with Ariana, I started Meditated Afro Chick. Okay, so I was Meditated Afro Chick. And that was actually doing fairly decent, but the way that I went about it was not on a level of not thinking about elevated consciousness. It was on a different level of just more so, like I would say, ego. And then I transitioned to Align with Ariana, and I feel like this is totally elevated consciousness. So when we talk about elevated consciousness, you guys know over the 6-day series that it is about elevating the current thought process, about creating and shifting your reality with your thoughts every single day. And I find it funny how I used to listen to this lady about shifting your reality and helping your thoughts every single day, and here I am talking about it to you guys years later, and I'm trying to put it in the principle of now and why it's important now. With the Lionsgate portal that is here, I still reference that the energy is still here, because it did hit a peak on the 8th, but yesterday it was still at a high point. Today it is beginning to dwindle down. So this is where you're connecting with your heart space. And why? Because the Lion's Gate deals with the heart. It deals with the true light, the true source of yourself. And you can feel it when you connect with yourself if something is changing about you, if something is wanting more about your awakening, your spiritual journey, your process. If you are really truly desiring that in your heart, you can feel it. So today, we are going to commune with our triggers, our emotions. So this is how you know that you have not healed, or this is how you know that it's important for you to connect the dots with your triggers, so you're able to see things more clearly. So I'm gonna look at my notes here. On day 1, we went over reframing the blockages. So we broke everything down. We wanted to kind of identify and acknowledge what our blockages were. So whether they were abandonment, whether we felt loneliness, whether we felt abuse, whether we gave ourselves self-neglect, or maybe we disempower ourselves with our words. We identify whatever the blockages were for our life. And we identify and we acknowledge why those come up. So it could have been, like I said, through personal experiences or childhood traumas that could have created that reality. So once we figured that reality was beginning to form in our life, in our thoughts every day, we didn't really know how often it comes into our mental space until we recognized that it was actually there. So we did that on day 1. Day 2 was all about opening up the blockages, because when the blockages show up in your life, when you're in your everyday conscious state of being, you don't know that you have blockages in this area. You're not familiar that you're doing these things in your life. You're not familiar that you keep dating the same people over and over, just the same energy, just a different face. You're not familiar with that. You don't know, you don't realize it, you cannot recognize it. So this is how you're able to do so, by getting in tune with yourself. So we had to open up the blockages. Opening up the blockages had it was purely connecting to your higher self, because your higher self is a mirror, and it sees very clearly, very, very clearly. It has already directed and connected you on your path, on what you're supposed to do, and it reflected back to you your true self. So that is why we opening up the blockages, because the connection with our higher self, which is totally in alignment with getting crystallized during this Lionsgate portal, which means that everything comes in very, very clear. It was able to reflect back to you your only true self, which allow you to connect with the elevated part of your consciousness, the higher parts of your thoughts, not the lower dimensional, low vibrating, low frequency energy that is keeping you trapped in blockages, that's keeping you trapped in financial blockages, that's keeping you trapped in love and not connecting with your true love. All of these are very, very common when you talk about why are these blockages showing up. But this is what the connection is about. Day 3. So yeah, day 2 was a guided meditation. So if you have not done that, I recommend that you go back and you do that. You take advantage of that, because it is a true connection with helping you see yourself and heal trauma, old wounds, heal. Even if you're healing from self-neglect, even if you're healing from not having enough courage, it's helping you heal. Day 3 was becoming the Neo. So you realize that you are now the one that is connected to the source. You realize that you are your higher self, and now your higher self is going to guide and lead you on your path. So you begin to recognize that your body is an altar. Hey, Tidra. So you realize that your body is an altar, and it is a house for you to take care of, for you to nurture, for you to love, for you to connect. And you connect with your house through prayer, through encouragement, through affirmations, through motivations, through spas, through self-care, through baths, and all of these different things that you connect with your first altar. So then you go on to your second and third altar, which is prayer, and you're actually having a physical space, an altar room, a prayer room, a physical space where you and your higher dimension, your higher selves, and other higher dimensions of other energies that you possess, that is connected through your ancestors, or that might be connected through spirit guides that chose you to direct on this path. They actually chose you to be of some assistance to you. That is what that is for. So on day 4, we want to commune with our triggers, because often after we get everything set up, after we realize that we are the first altar, we are the first channel, we get in situations, or we have things that come up that trigger us, that remind us of our healing process, or remind us that we need to still continue to connect with our higher self in some degree every way, because you get these different things that come up that they're called triggers. So your trigger points are going to be things that remind you of connecting back to those feelings. So let me give you an example. So let's say your feeling is abandonment. And you might have, like, I can definitely speak on this, because this is one area that I have literally been working to heal on, and it is a constant healing process for me. But let's say abandonment, and you have, a child, and you realize that your child is not getting the attention from you, or they might not get the attention from your significant other, and you're busy doing something and you want your child to get more attention. Well, you can harness all of those energies from that abandonment feeling that you have felt by looking at your child, because you see it kind of replaying over and over, Or you might connect to different or similar experiences that are around you that might be triggering you. It's like PTSD. It is literally PTSD for your soul, for your spirit. Or you could be, you could be in a relationship where you develop a strong connection with this person. This person was a twin flame and a soulmate, and you see this person out in public after 3 years later, and you see them having a happy life and they're married with children, and you realize that, well, the reason why you were not able to stay with this person is because, number one, it was toxic energy, and number two, maybe it was a sense of abandonment. Maybe it was a sense of not having enough self-confidence to stand on your own 2 feet. So you see them, and then all of these emotions re-trigger. The reason why you want to commune or be with your triggers when they show up, you want to acknowledge those triggers, because those are points in your body, points in your spirit and your soul where you're able to heal past traumas. When you connect with those triggers that come up, with those emotions, with those feelings, with the ideas, everything that makes you feel, it lets you know, number one, that you're human, that you're going through this process in a human flesh, but it's spiritual, and also that you are building a bond, a relationship with that emotion. So when the trigger comes up, you know how to identify it, and you know how to let it sit in your body. You know how some people might, like for instance, me being an empath, if you're an empath, you might have anxiety. And when you have anxiety, you panic. You don't know what to do with it. But the more and more that emotion comes up and comes through your body and meets you at the front door with yourself and your fears, and all of those emotions come to you, you know how to handle it a little bit better. You know how to speak words of empowerment over yourself. You know how to speak love to yourself. You know how to release someone when that ex that you saw that you didn't want to let go and you thought you were going to be with together forever, and they're gone with their life. You know how to release them and say, hi, blessings to you, but my blessings are coming. So you have to commune with your spirit, because it's not an energy that you can let yourself let go. Because once you release those energies and you let them go and you never revisit them, when things come up that are trying, that are hard, that are meant to challenge you, you will crack under pressure. You will. So this is why you have to commune with your triggers. This is how you know that the healing is not completely healed. The wounds are still open, and it's still time for you to keep rebuilding. So what do? Well, when you realize those emotions and those triggers are coming back up, you go back to step 2, which is opening the blockages. You go back to connecting with your higher self, and you ask your higher self, you speak to your higher self, you let your higher self know that this is an area you're working on that you will heal. And you set deadlines, you set dates, you set all of these things, because it's going to be very important. Now, I know a lot of you are getting a lot of this information now. It's coming in your heart. You might have old issues that have come up in your heart space that you're ready to heal from, or you might experience that it might be easier now to really get over things of the past. That is because of the Lionsgate portal. This portal is not just about being at its highest point and getting downloads to help you with ascending. Yes, that is a huge part of it. But the biggest part is about allowing your heart to be open and truly connected to where on your path you're meant to go, where you're meant to be, and connecting you with all of the things that are meant to be on your path. So when you get the intense dreams right now, when you get the intense premonitions or the emotions or the butterflies in the stomach, it's going to be very important to listen deeply to those emotions, because 9 times out of 10 is your ancestors, your spiritual guides, or your higher self, which is known as your Ori. And well, it depends on where you take that from. So it just depends on whatever you believe. But what I'm connected to is called my Ori. For the most part, it's called your Ori. So your higher self, and it is going to show you and give you messages of things that you need to focus on to help you align right now. So what I'm getting that a lot of people need during this time, which I'll be able to go over to my Instagram and talk briefly about it, is rose quartz. There's healing in the heart. And I feel like rose quartz is going to be the perfect crystal, literally, to connect with your heart, to open it up. Rose quartz. Rose quartz is going to be really good, or connecting with jade as well, because jade does help align you with your true desires. So this day on day 4 is not a day that is going to be like, it's not one huge day like day 5 and 6 is going to be very, very good, very intense. Day 4 is all about communing with your triggers. Make sure you're aware of your triggers. And when you get put in situations, when situations come up, with the triggers that remind you that you're still healing from your higher self, you're still shifting your consciousness now to an elevated standpoint, don't be afraid to confront them. Commune with them, build with them, connect with them, have some sort of emotion. Allow yourself to be human. Because remember, you are human. You're having a human experience, but you are spiritual. You're a spiritual being, and you chose to come here during this time. So I want to thank you guys to connect. Thank you guys for aligning with Ariana. Look at me, 2021, perfect, perfect, perfect. Connection and alignment. So I want to thank you guys for aligning with Ariana. I appreciate you guys. Yes, as I mentioned, you want to go with jade and rose quartz during this time. So if you would like your own personal reading, please visit www.alignwithariana.com. As well, be sure to check my website. This week I have some spiritual jewelry that will be on there that is blessed, consecrated, and it's called the Prosperity Collection, which is going to help bring in those abundance. Remember, we keep all of these spiritual tools on us and around us to always keep that flow of energy open at all times. And I also have candles on my website that will be available for pre-order. So if you would like that, you can go visit the website. As you know, follow me on Instagram. That's where I post daily. That's where you get a lot of updates, and you'll be able to connect with me. And any questions that you have, any questions, please, please, please send me the DM or send me an email. It would be better if you send me an email, and you guys know how to connect with me on there. So, peace, love, wadu, bye.